This is your boy, Lord Thaddeus Gray. Sorry I'm dressed so roughly, it's just late at night and it's hot. So, there you go. This one is going to continue on the Japanese type stuff, or Asian type stuff. I'm probably going to branch out a little later, but I'm not quite sure yet. This one is going to be about the kappa. What are kappas? I don't know much about them, but I am going to speak what little I know. They are very mischievous entities. They're also known as, if I remember right, yokai, which is kind of, there's all kinds of stuff on the yokai. I mean, you have kitsune, you have no kitsune, you have, of course, the kappa, you have all kinds of stuff. The ukiona, which I brought up, what I think we consider a kind of that version of a yokai. Basically, point blank, yokai are Japanese beings that are Japanese told beings, I'm trying to say. I'm not saying they're necessarily Japanese in nationality because I'm pretty sure they're older than any being could even imagine. They might be. I'm pretty sure, of course, naturally. That is the primary population in Japan, always has been. And that's just how it is. You know, nothing bad. It's just, they're very strict with their culture, and I can respect that. It's a very strong thing. It's one of the things that has made them survive so many cataclysms on that island. So naturally, many of these beings are tied to the elements, and you have to understand there's a reason for that. The main reason is the natural disasters that happen on that little island, man. Let me tell you, you have earthquakes especially. Them things are bad over there. I mean, almost as bad as, like, probably worse, actually, than, like the San Andreas Fault in California and all that stuff. It's something to think about. So naturally, a lot of their belief systems would definitely go, especially the older belief systems. Long before Buddhism, there was the Shinto belief. And of course, again, this centers around elements and the spirits and things like that. It's a very interesting faith. I'm just going to leave it at that. And I definitely respect those who are definitely capable of that type of dedication and discipline. Leave it at that. It's something that us Westerners just, I'm not saying we can't comprehend it, but it's rare, if you get my drift. Especially over here in the States. Now, the kappa, if one of them, which I'm fairly familiar with, not two, is a creature that looks like a giant, almost reptilian, not going to say giant, but man-sized reptilian creature, almost like that of a turtle. It is an aquatic creature. And these things are not necessarily, don't get me wrong, they're dangerous, I mean, especially if you disrespect one or piss it off, yeah, quick. But they're more mischievous, it seems to be. I've noticed this. There seems to be a real line of observation, at least on my part, that so many of these entities, whether they be cryptid or something else like these things, they're playful in their own way. And the thing is, unfortunately, many times the jokes they might play with each other, they may try to play on us, and it don't turn out too good for us, because we're not supernatural creatures. I mean, human beings are, but you know what I'm trying to say. We're made in God's image, but we're not, nothing like that. So a lot of times, bad things do happen when they try to play their pranks. Are they necessarily evil or demonic? That's a good question. I believe they're interdimensional. We call that demonic, because that is kind of the term. In that respect, yes. Are they like the classic evil, fallen type entities that I am fairly familiar with? I don't believe so. I think there's something else. I believe actually there may even be creatures that are older than we can comprehend. You got to understand something. In the book, the Bible, it says what was before this creation, the darkness. Now I don't know if they're tied to that. I don't believe so. I think when God created this planet and the universe, I definitely believe the Creator had a hand in there. I mean, obviously, He's a creator. Now, what role they play, I can't tell you. But I do believe firmly that they're not necessarily all evil. I mean, again, you have some that are wicked. I mean, there's pure evil incarnate. But at the same time, not everything in the way, when it comes to the yokai, are evil. There are some that are actually interesting entities. I'm going to talk about the kitsune a little bit. They, many times, they're connected to the fox, ancient fox spirits. Very powerful, powerful beings, and many times they can be both male and female. Of course, usually anime and manga portrays them usually as female because it's more appealing, gets more attention. But they're not just for men's observation, if you get my drift. They're beyond that. I believe that these creatures do exist, or at one time existed, and they're definitely old world. Definitely old world. They are ancient beings, and they probably live among us today, in one incarnation or the other. You have to understand something. Many beings, they feed on belief. If you believe in something, it gets stronger. So, you still have a pretty strong belief system over in Japan. So a lot of these entities that may be weaker over here ain't necessarily over there. That's just my own personal opinion. Now take what I say with a grain of salt. Never forget that. But I'm just saying. It definitely makes sense to me, what I'm saying. Now, how to handle one of these things, I can't tell you. I don't know enough really about them. But to me, it seems like they're really on respect. You show them respect, most likely you won't have much of a problem. Now, I've heard of, ironically, just like with the Yukiona, Kitsune sometimes liking a human being or something like that, and there's been all kinds of stories. Sometimes they will kidnap the person and keep this individual with them until they age and pass on, or they're taken care of fairly well. Or they may grow tired with a person and kill them. Or sometimes there's even been stories of them actually giving the person immortality. It's really weird how this stuff works. But it's something which is definitely, while definitely fantastical, I do believe that there's some kind of fact based on those stories. Like I said, it's just very interesting. Yokai are connected to, like I said, the elements. You have some that are based in fire, almost like the jinn. Terrifying, horrific creatures. You have some that are, like I said, kind of like the Kappa, water-based. At least the one that I've a little bit of knowledge of. You have other entities too. Of course, like I said, the Yukiona before is, of course, connected to the cold and all that good jazz. Now, again, I'm just going to kind of leave this one where I just said, they're very interesting, and I figured if you want to try to do some study on them, be my guest. Like I said, my knowledge of these things is mediocre at best, but I am interested. And I figured this video would be kind of a reflection of that fascination. Also, I want to go ahead and put out something. There is a website now. It is called darkwatersradio.com. Check it out. I think you won't be disappointed. We are slowly but surely growing. Dark Waters Entertainment is. And it will continue to do so. There's different paths being put out there. I'm just going to leave it at that. Nothing too serious. But I think we'll be seeing some wonderful things coming out. I'm just going to leave it at that. If you've had a cryptid sighting or supernatural occurrence, hit me up. My email is wesvic@iamdarkwaters.com. Just going to leave it at that. You guys be blessed and you be safe.